of Southern Nevada is now.
One of the biggest news stories during Channel 8's 60 years on the air has been the mob in Las Vegas. And with few exceptions, the mobsters who once ruled the streets and ran the casinos are long gone.
Most of them are either dead or in prison, but they will forever be linked to the image of our city. George Knapp of the I-Team is here to tell us about the 8 News Now crews who chased mafia figures, tried to get interviews, and chronicled the death of the local mob.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the most part, the mobsters we used to chase around understood that it was our job, that they didn't seem to take offense, though there were exceptions. When things started to go sour for the mob here, a lot of people ended up dead. There were threats on the lives of lawmen and regulators, and as Channel 8 was to learn, reporters were also not exempt from the wrath of the mafia.
We're worried about.
You guys got to cut it out. I'm warning you now. All right?
Rackets boss tough Tony Spilatro was used to having cameras in his face, but when Spilatro issued one of his infamous death stares, it wasn't to be ignored.
You know, I heard the FBI screaming and yelling that he killed 26 different people, and the only thing I could say to that is shame on them. If he killed 26 people, they should have put him in jail for a day. They didn't even do that.
Future Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman became a media star because he represented the likes of Spilatro, along with Lefty Rosenthal, Meyer Lansky, and others. When federal officials and Nevada lawmen began to crack down on the mob, Goodman and his notorious clientele became nightly fixtures on KLAS-TV.
I know that you used to follow him around all the time, and you had that camera out all the time.
Oh yes, our cameras were also around when Spilatro associates appeared outside the Culinary Union Hall.
I have nothing to say.
When Lefty Rosenthal's Cadillac was shredded by a car bomb on East Sahara. When gaming agents raided the Stardust Hotel and found evidence of a massive skimming operation. Channel 8 posed questions to godfatherly casino kingpin Mo Dalitz.
So forgive me for not answering you.
And to mob frontman Alan Glick. When the Hole in the Wall gang was taken down for robbing Berthas, and when Frank Collada became a government witness, we were there.
I always jokingly say that Channel 8 ran the mob out of Las Vegas. I don't know that that's true, but we certainly shone a light on it.
It was still a dicey time. As pressures on the mob mounted, more people ended up dead. Threats were made against the lives of government officials, including gaming regulator Jeff Silver, who worked closely with a scruffy newspaper columnist turned Channel 8 muckraker named Ned Day.
Ned was the consummate journalist of Las Vegas for those times. He did things that no other individual would do. Ned was courageous to a fault.
After the car bombing, Rosenthal had a big decision to make.
Day tormented and insulted the mobsters, who put out a contract on him. At one point, his car was firebombed, likely the happiest day of his life. He and fellow KLAS Hall of Famer Bob Stoddall put together the definitive account about the rise and fall of the mafia here, Mob on the Run. The culmination of many years of work by Channel 8 news crews.
He could write stories and columns better than anybody I know. And he and George and the news director at the time decided, you know, that they were going to pretty much take on the mob. And it was, I think, Ned's stories and Channel 8's coverage that really shone the light on Tony Spilatro.
That relentless attention, combined with pressure from law enforcement, led to Spilatro's murder and burial in a Midwestern cornfield. His associate, Fat Herbie Blitzstein, was also murdered sometime later. Joey Cusumano survived an attempted assassination and went straight. The mob was finally exorcised from the casino industry as the corporations moved in.
I'm glad the story gets told now because people can see that, in fact, that these times were important for the development of the gaming industry and for what we have now in the state of Nevada.
September 3rd will mark 26 years since Ned Day died while in Hawaii. In the mid-90s, we had the honor of updating the program that he and Bob Stoddall produced, Mob on the Run. You can watch it for yourself, along with original news reports from the mob era, including the stories about the murder of Tony Spilatro, Lefty Rosenthal's car bomb, and a lot more. For the KLAS anniversary, we put together a very expansive timeline and videos on our website. Use the keyword anniversary. It would be an exaggeration to say we drove the mob out. There were a lot of news organizations that were covering the stuff. Those lawmen and regulators did the job, but we certainly contributed.
Kept it in the light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.